Welcome back, y'all, to another episode of Hip Hop Baby's album review.
Yes, sir.
It's your host, Deadly. You know, I got my boy Ray with me as always. Today we got something special, super special. JID has released his first full-length project since 2017. We have made it! Hallelujah.
Yes, sir.
The Forever
man.
Story.
Yeah, we have been waiting on this. This is one of our most anticipated projects because ever since DiCaprio 2, the Spillage Village project, you know, he's been popping up on a bunch of stuff, but he hasn't dropped anything himself in a minute.
All that waiting, all that time has paid off, man. We are finally here. This shit is fucking amazing. You mentioned the Spillage Village album. I really liked a lot of the stuff that he incorporated in this album that reminded me of the Spillage Village album. Lots of use of chorus, you know, like gospel type themes, stuff like that. That really just exploded on this project. His singing ability has been refined. He does not need anybody else on his songs to fill them out. And I would say that at this point, any feature that's on a JID project is a complimentary piece and doesn't take away from the spotlight, doesn't do terrible. Everybody always wants to come hard with JID. JID's like one of the best rappers right now, so he brings the best out of people, and it's fucking amazing to see, bro. And, they just bring their perspectives on his tracks. Man, let me slow down. Let me bring it back. A basis of what this album is about, if you're caring to listen to this, you haven't listened to it yet, it is about, you know, the continuation of the Never Story. So it's like a revamped version almost where it's not the same album, but you're getting a more insight, more perspective into what it was like with JID with his 6 other siblings growing up in Atlanta. And this is truly just a tale about blackness in general. Yeah. For me, he brings across multifacets of his life, you know, different things that he highlights that I'd just love to share with y'all. You know, the opening of the album has a voice on it where this guy's talking, chewing him out. And that's actually his football coach from high school. And he was chewing him out, but, you know, in a loving, caring type of way, trying to get on him, how most of our coaches and teachers and stuff do. And I thought that was a really cool thing to incorporate. And I really relate to, you know, having somebody like that. Even though you were moved on from the next chapter to the next chapter of your life, you know, you always look back on those role models and stuff that really brought you into who you are today.
Yeah, he has a few like little personal touches. Even this scrap track that he put out on YouTube only because of a sample, 2007, that let me know that this was going to be a really personal album. You know, even the Forever Story, the title, the Never Story had little moments in it or like lines or like little references, but this was pretty blatant. Going right into the other track after that, Radar, right after the coach amps him up. Man, I had to rewind this one a few times. I had to. We said this when we talked about him on features at this point because we haven't really been able to review a project of his like on his own. When he gets into a flow, especially when he gets into it when the beat starts switching and he's still going, it's almost like he doesn't stop. He just lets it keep going. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Man, he's something else. He gets on another level.
He's like the Allen Iverson of this rap shit, bro. This nigga's bag is in hell, bro. That's how deep it is, bro. He's still reaching in there, bro. He ain't even found the bottom.
DiCaprio 2, and it kind of felt that way, was the teaser, you know, because that was his first. I mean, no, the Never Story. I forgot if he was signed to. I think he was on Dreamville at that point, and then DiCaprio 2 was like he was fully on, you know, because I think the Never Story was like a transition.
DiCaprio was the mixtape series, and
mixtape.
2018 he released DiCaprio 2, which was a sequel mixtape.
And it felt like that kind of, you know, it felt like, you know, it had moments, it had songs like Off the Zoinkies and like a few of them.
Strawberries.
He just Strawberries where you were just going in, but he didn't have a theme like the Never Story. This one, he kind of goes back to that. Radar is one of my favorite tracks. Gets you ready for the beat switches that's going to happen later on too, because there's a few of them on this album. Dance Now. I'm going a little bit in order, but we'll switch it up, but I'm doing that because, you know, it flows pretty well. This album flows pretty well, and Dance Now, my favorite single. Catchy, dark, perfect track to get Kenny Mason to do the hook part on. I ain't dapping no hands, sanitized niggas.
The voice, bro. The voice is so catchy. And then, you know, Kenny Mason, that's my boy. That's my boy since day one. Ever since Serial came out with Kenny Mason, IDK, and JID, I knew that was 2019. I knew that this was going to be a superstar tandem because this nigga, Kenny, bro, with his choruses is just crazy, bro. Like his fusion of rock, rap, just the way that like it made his whole voice is just fucking amazing. Yes, Dance Now, amazing track.
Yeah.
Super catchy, stuck in my head all the fucking time. It's really that voice, bro. It's just like when somebody does like some crazy ass voice and it catches your ear like that, it's just like it's in there forever for me.
Yeah.
So I love that track. I love the other single too because we're talking about singles. Surround sound, you know.
Yep, 21
with 21 and Baby Tate. That was a great track. I love the concept of the track. You know, you just like you in the hood, like the surround sound of like gunshots just around you and shit. And, like that's how you riding through and shit. I love the concept of it. I love all the extra sounds added on top of it. He does a lot of like hidden sounds in this project. If you're not listening close enough, you won't catch a lot of this stuff. So it's like one of those projects that like if you're not actually listening, you're not gonna get a lot from it. So you have to sit down with this album every single time.
That was the perfect single. I think that was like one of the first ones.
It was the first one.
Shows what type of features you're getting. Because when he showed the feature list, seeing that he started with like 21, and then I seen he get Dirk on here. He had a Lil Wayne, Yasin Bey, or Mos Def. I was wondering how he'd fit sometimes. With this album, he showed he could fit with anyone. Because he's versatile. That's why I think he does a lot of beat changes. Because hearing him over one thing, it's almost putting him in a box. You have to switch it up sometimes because he can get on a different flow. He can get on a different topic on the track. His verses are really diverse with the way he goes into them. The hooks. We're talking about singing. Cody Blue. Yeah, he was really singing on that track. He's always showed he had vocal ability on moments or on tracks. But he was really singing on that one, Cody Blue. That was an emotional track. He had a few of those like that.
The only real like singing track that I remember from him before this was like I could say Sandstorm with Mirba.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the perfect one. Yeah,
that was like his real like singing one, and then also like he did a little bit of stuff on the Spillage album. But yeah, this one he really brought forward like all the pieces to what he had so far.
Yes.
So it's really cool. We are getting a continuation of Never Story, but it's on a much grander scale, and he's like much more tapped into what he wants to do. So,
yeah.
And I feel like JID's really like getting into that level of what he wants to do, like where it doesn't matter what he puts his mind to, as long as he does put his mind to it, it's gonna get done type stuff. Yeah. Insane. Like my mind is blown. Even though I was expecting something like this, it's just like you can't really until it happens. So.
Yeah, because you can tell you put in the time and the effort with this album. That's probably why it took a minute. He's been working on a lot of things with other people, building connections. It seems like touring, making his dough. So, and you're still giving us top notch albums, keeping going into a track list.
Crack Sandwich.
What you gotta say about that one? What you gotta say about Crack Sandwich?
Crack Sandwich is like just one of those songs that's all that shit that you would hear in your house growing up type stuff. Mama said when you fall down, stand up, get a bandage. I ain't got cheeseburger money. Make a sandwich.
Yeah.
How many times you heard that? We got McDonald's at home. You ain't eat McDonald's. We got it at home type shit. So I really just love that song. Proverb type song for people like us. So it's really cool just to hear somebody who can make a catchy, cool song. You can relate to it so much. Who makes music like this, bro? Nobody makes music like this. So it's like it's just really cool to have somebody who grew up in a low-income household in like the streets of Atlanta with like a bunch of siblings and stuff, and like all that comes into culmination onto this project, onto this song in particular. Why you being bad? See your dad get your ass whipped. Heard that a million times too.
Yeah. Camp Pugby, I really like that track. I feel like him and Earth Gang are really good together.
Another really unpredictable artist in Earth Gang. It's a duo, and they're also like super sporadic, where they'll change up in the middle of a song, change the beat, change the flow type stuff. They're really just like a real grab your ear type rapper. I love this track too.
Pull up the pump, can't help me.
Laying down the rules,
yeah. I feel like that was a cool little aggressive beat track. The chemistry is there, obviously.
You were talking about Cody Blue. We'll talk about Birdman right after that.
Dirk,
it's one of my favorite tracks for sure.
Yeah, Dirk. Dirk slid. I was worried. You never know. Sometimes with Dirk, I don't know.
Wait.
Slid on this one.
They went crazy on this track. The beat was fucking top notch.
Yeah, it was.
These guys are going back and like right after each other, right? And it's a song about loving your brother, sticking up for your brother, how people outside of the community see people that you love, and
Yep.
that's somebody that you love. That's you don't know what they're going through, layoff type shit. You got Dirk on here. Dirk been in the public eye a lot for stuff that is surrounding him and his brother, so I feel like getting him on this track was pretty much the perfect fit, vocally, song wise, and like public perception wise. Like it hit on all facets.
I didn't expect him to get Dirk on the album. When he showed the track list, I was like, oh, Dirk's on here. I was like, big feature. Same as Lil Wayne on here later.
Right after that, we got System. This is where the album flips. So if you didn't know, it was supposed to be 16 tracks, like we said earlier, 2 8-side tapes, and then you flip the 8 sideways. It's a infinity sign, forever, type stuff. So just really cool details that he adds.
He uses a lot of alliteration, a lot of like stuff like you would find in poetry and some of his, even in his verses. For people who look for that, you would catch it. You know what I'm saying? I've seen a lot of breakdowns of his bars. And if you're really a rap nerd, you would look into that. Just like with Kendrick, people used to compare him to Kendrick a lot, and I think still do. But he's definitely paved his own lane. I think he did it a little bit ago, but this solidifies that.
He's like one of those guys that you can dissect and you can learn from forever. You can listen to this album 100 times. I promise you're going to find something new every single time you listen to it. It's wild.
Yeah.
And this is some of the stuff that I really appreciate about Kendrick, when I was growing up and stuff. It's just like, back in 2012 when I was listening to Section 80, Good Kid, Mad City, it's like I didn't fully understand every single line, every single song, every single message. You gotta live life to really understand all that type of stuff. And it's just like he's one of those piece of life or genre rappers, right? Where he'll take a moment in his life and he'll paint it out for you, and you can learn a plethora of lessons from it. And he's just got so much wisdom, like stored in his head. But
it's relatable. It's not preachy. It's
relatable. It's not preachy. He has perfect technique to the point where you can study that too. It's just like who doing it like this, bro? Like there's nobody that can do it like this. So hats off to JID for just being like one of those guys that you can always count on, and it's not gonna be phony, and it don't matter. He don't care about falling off. He's gonna give you the real. You want to break down System a little bit? Talk about the track. System is cool. It's just the dichotomy of the 2 tracks. It's a lot more like a passive view. It's not the same perspective of Jizz. It's more of like the people that was following him along the way. That's what I got from it. Is that what you got from it? It's like his sister's with him, and they're watching. They're watching him as he progresses, and it's like a different perspective and stuff. So it's just like it's really cool because he's highlighting another perspective and just taking on another character. He keeps adding like different facets to his raps.
I think James Blake shows up later on the track as well. I think that was James Blake. He's uncredited, but I think there was a few vocalists. That was a cool track. It was a longer one too. I feel like there's a few longer tracks on here, especially as we get into this part of the album. The second side, Stars. But I feel like it's warranted. It's not like the longer tracks are boring or they're noticeably long, because sometimes with rappers I feel like they do that. They make tracks too long, because you go into Can't Make You Change. That one was cool. Ari Lennox and him, she's dope. I feel like when they do tracks together, it's cool. This one wasn't my favorite by them personally. I liked one line, she in my DM for my DNA strands. That was funny.
And then the beat change at the end is my favorite part of the track, where it switches up and he starts going in. But like you were saying with the long tracks and stuff, they're just really dense songs. Like it's not that they that he was like adding on like a 1 minute beat runoff at the end. Really like dense, and you have to digest it. So I feel bad sometimes with these like breakdown. I can't get into every single detail, and I really would love to. Man, we gotta keep going. So
because Stars, Yasin Bey. I was hyped for this one. Knowing what Yasin Bey brings to the table, because he's a top tier MC. Classic. He has a classic album or two. When you bring him on a project, or when you bring him on a song, you have to bring it. I expected bars, and I got them. They talked about like climate change. I think Mos Def said at one point, is race really a thing? This was a party track for sure. There's a lot. I bet they're gonna be breaking down this one. The beat was interesting. Like I was like, whoa. If you get Yasin on the band on the track, I expected something a little different.
But the way that the beat was made allowed JID to flow on this like something crazy, like the
it was perfect.
like
I
stopping,
like this track.
and then
Yeah,
like he was doing the thing with his voice where he was talking about he was rhyming stars and he was going stars, like you know, like that shit that he just does with his voice. And I was just like, bro, he's putting on a clinic. He's putting on a clinic, and then
this was dope.
Yasin Bey only gives like what, like a few, 8 bars. Not
That's
even a
how
full
he
verse.
is nowadays. But I mean, whenever he pops up, it's always fun to see.
But he had a lot of impact with his words.
Yeah,
even
that's how
though
he
it
always
came
is.
at the even though it came at the end, you know, it like the beat changed a little bit. It set the spotlight on him, and he said what he needed to say, and it was, I mean, it was a good verse. So you know, you can't complain. Right after that might be my favorite track on this whole thing, just because you know I'm a rager type guy. You know, be going to concerts. You know, I be punching niggas in the heads and shit. Just in Time is the perfect song for punching somebody in the head. So Kenny Mason rocks crowds. I love him. I can't wait to see this live if he ever does this live.
Yeah.
If they go on tour together, that should be crazy. The 2 verses are fucking insane. JID and Lil Wayne, I think both got verse of the year contenders with this one song alone.
Yeah,
And
Lil Wayne. I love that Lil Wayne, you know, whenever he chooses to pop on the feature and really brings to the table, he will bring a verse of the year. I remember with I think it was either on Flower Boy or Igor, like he had one, no, Flower Boy, I think.
Dropping Seeds.
Dropping Seeds. He killed that. Or like he always shows up on these younger people's albums and shows love. He's not afraid.
Yeah, he did it. I mean, on Polo G.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah, he obviously influences.
Really
yeah, he influences these people, and he's obviously not afraid to show them love and work with them and give them top tier verses. Like he goes, it's almost like he goes back in his time capsule, and it's like, yeah, he killed that one too. I'm always looking forward to seeing whenever he pops up on a feature like this because I know he's gonna try to bring it. He did it for Corday too.
Yep,
on Sinister.
It's crazy, man. I believe everything that he says. You know, it's funny. It's like a lot of these rappers, they just be lying at their ass. Wayne, the shit he be saying, he's like, man, I don't write down a single verse. You know, I just go in there and rap it. Hey, man, I don't repeat any bars. You know, I go back and I look at what I listen to what I was rapping, and I make sure I don't repeat nothing. I believe that. I don't know how you listen to your whole discography, you know, to figure out what you listen to.
Because he
what
dropped
you
a lot
said
too.
before.
He dropped a lot.
You dropped way too much music, but you know what, man? You Superman at this point.
Yeah, shout out to him on this one. This was a dope. This is one of my favorite tracks too.
And Money right after that, you know, some of the
I like Money.
The chorus stuff from Spilligion kind of leaked over here. He got a bunch of kids and was just like, y'all go sing your heart out.
Talking about how being broke is a expensive lifestyle and how like
ain't that ironic?
Ain't that ironic? And talk about how like, you know, everybody, especially when you broke, you want money, but you know, comes with things. I liked it. It wasn't like one of my favorites, but it was cool. It sparked my ear again. I was like, okay, this is cool.
And it's just one of those things that like we're all thinking about, you know, when you don't have it, right? You're always thinking about it, and it does pay, you know, a little bit to pay attention to what these people who do have it say about it. And it shouldn't be something that drives your life necessarily. Next one, another one of my favorite tracks. Man, I feel like I say this for every track. Better Days featuring Jonta Austin. Shout out Jonta. That shit was dope. Really cool track about the duality of JID and one of his best friends growing up. Start at one point, which are the better days, and then we're progressing past that throughout the song. JID is detailing stuff that his homie's getting wrapped up into, while also keeping us grounded in the timeline, talking about some stuff that's going on with his life, saying he didn't get good sleep until he was 27, aka when 2017 we dropped DiCaprio 2. You know, he got a little bit of money, got a little bit of bread. Meanwhile, his brother over there is catching a charge, and you know, first time he's like, whatever, you know, shit happens. He progresses a little bit more. Homie catches a second charge, goes to jail, and he's like, what the fuck? The duality of their two lives, and I just like the concept of he's still looking for those better days, even though he's talking about all the shit that he's doing. He's at the Grammys, he's progressing in life. You know, he still wants to bring his homie with him, and it's not the same without the homie.
Yeah. So. Yeah, this track hit. Sometimes even, you know, me personally, you grow up with people, or you know, you're doing things, and then y'all both go different ways, and y'all still keep in touch, or y'all still tap in. You know, stuff happens. You know, Sometimes y'all both go different ways for the better. Sometimes one of y'all go up, one of y'all go down. Sometimes it's an up and down thing. Yeah, sometimes you do wish you could go back and be like, man, I wish we could go back when we were just kicking it. It was simple, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't all that drama. So that was a cool little track.
And then we cap it off with the official closer of Lauder 2. We're not really going to get into 2007.
That would have been the perfect closer, though. I like what he gave us with this one, but that would have been the perfect closer. I understood why he just put it out because you could damn near still count it. But this was cool. It was a cool way to close the album. With what he gave us, he knew he couldn't finish on a bad note, and he definitely went out. That was cool. I like this track.
I really liked the feature on this, or features. Raven, Lene, and Aaron Allen King.
She could sing.
Reminds me a lot of, you remember when we did the review of Vita?
Mm-hmm.
Little Mermaid.
Way back.
Reminds me a lot of her voice and how she's like kind of like ethereal on there a little bit, you know?
Okay.
Kind of like giving that like out of body type singing. I thought it was really good, and it was like really good contrast of the beginning of the track and that like the 808s coming in and thumping, and he's like, pardon me, I'm on a war, you know, he's going in hard, and then she slows it down all the way.
This was a good listen. I was a great listen, amazing listen. This album was the shit. I wouldn't really ask to change much. We went track by track pretty much because this is arguably a track by track album. I feel like JID, he knew what people were saying about him. He knew what the reaction was about to be as far as like if he came with a mid album or you came with an album that wasn't really up to expectations, it would have been like, damn, he had a little margin of error, and he hit on every level. I'm looking forward to more work, of course, because I know you got a lot more tucked in probably. So this was a good, not a starter, but a good way to keep it going and keep pushing, because I can see some hits on here. I can see you being a star or a superstar even if you keep going and find a way to get on the radio consistently, especially with J. Cole pushing you, the Dreamville. People should be eating this up. I think this should be bigger than it even is. This should have been the number one album. Easily. This is one of the best albums of this year. It's up there with Kendrick's, especially at this point in his career. This was impressive. This is very impressive.
Yeah. Yeah, and one of the things I really appreciate about JID is, you know, now he's on, didn't get number one, should have got number one. He's not going to be putting out those songs that are just for the radio type stuff, like Surround Sound and Dance Now. Those were very much so like reminding me of like 2000s type singles, right? Where you release the single because it's your damn near your best song, and it gets so many plays, like radio plays and stuff, that it does your promo for you. He's not out here on TikTok, you know, doing the dance, and that's why he gets...
Or making TikTok songs.
That's why he gets traffic. He gets traffic because his songs are so good that you can't help but go and check out the rest.
And I was also worried, you know, with some of the big name features that he might not shine as much, or like they would take away from the album. No, it showed that he could be a contemporary, if not even doing better than some of these legacy or dope acts. You know what I'm saying? Like he kept up with all of them, or maybe even did a little better. So yeah, man, JID, this is what we want. We need more of this. Don't take as long, please. But if you do, hey man, if you're gonna keep giving me stuff like this, I cannot complain. I cannot complain at all.
Yeah, it was great, and I'm glad he came with a full concept as an album, because I don't think that I wanted another DiCaprio type album at all. Even though it's good. It's like this is what we needed.
This is what I wanted. Yeah.
I really appreciate it. I mean, I don't know if I got it above Kendrick yet, but that's why we gonna make a top 10 video, bro. Yep. Y'all don't get to know none of that shit until I tell you.
Till later, yeah, for real.
That's it, man.
Yep.
That's all I got.
Thank y'all for checking it out. We appreciate it. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, all that. We appreciate it. Hit us up on social media, the Hip Hop Babies, everywhere. Hit us up on the email at thhbpodcast@gmail.com.
All right, y'all. Thank you so much. As always, see y'all next time. Peace.
Peace.